What's going on, speculators? Let's fire up the Future Fanatic live stream for the afternoon of Tuesday. It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. If you're the first one in here, you can give me just a quick one for picture and sound. Did not send out an email about today, so not really sure who's going to join, but that would be great. As we get going here, just want to remind everybody the presentation is for educational purposes only. Opinions expressed are those of the presenter, the guy breathing heavily into the mic. All trades presented should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. All right. What a wild, fun, another fantastic day of trading. I mean, it's been pretty wild here. I am kind of all over the shop. Just closed a position in gold.
Order submitted.
I have just too much going on to mention everything, but basically been trading in some PAs, some prop programs. I'm up stuck yet again in this account over here. So good news is balance up to 38,000. If you watch my stream on Sunday night, this account was at 30 grand on Sunday nights, now up to 38,000. So that's 8 grand in a few days. It was up to 40 today. So we're up stuck. But this is the power of micros, everybody. They allow you to position trade multiple markets. Again, depends on account sizes and things. And for most people, I suggest starting with the prop programs. But I have these accounts on screen so you can also see that this works for growing and cash flowing a small personal account as well. Now, your definition of a small account could vary. It could be somewhere around 2,500 or 5,000 or up to as much as maybe 50,000. Those are still small accounts and should be handled trading micros in a sort of scale in, scale out way. Using mean reversion is what I teach, but obviously you can trade anything you want as long as you're managing risk there. So quick around the horn here. I am long the Dow Jones. I'm long the NASDAQ, which is down a lot. See, this is the entire loss today in open losses is on this NASDAQ position. But again, I'm using kind of a portfolio risk management where I made so much money on gold today that I got some money to give back and trade around this NASDAQ position. I'll probably cut it near the end of the day if it doesn't have a little bit of a rally. It looks like they're selling the NASDAQ yet again. And then here on Bitcoin, Bitcoin's been pretty brutal as well, but I've been managing to trade around this. Nice extreme turn buy right here. That's this blue line that you see here. As soon as the condition came off, we got our first rally of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a rally into the close or a move right back down or nothing. That's one of our favorite songs. This could go one of two ways. It could actually go one of three ways: up, down, or nowhere. Drop a like, follow, comment, all that good stuff. And you tell me a little bit about what your Kerpos is today. Like, what are you trading and how have you been navigating what's going on here? Because I don't think you could ask for a better environment to practice in, to practice managing risk, to have opportunities in both directions. This morning, the Dow Jones, for instance, hit an all-time high. I don't know on the futures, but the cash hit an all-time high and then came all the way back down, broke through our T-line, and came down and found some support at not a really meaningful level. I mean, some people could say it's sort of the POC from Friday's POC right around here, which is fine. So some people call that naked POCs. I don't really care about these terminologies. It's just the volume point of control from Friday. So finding a little bit of a bounce there at 48,990s. And as you can see, I'm long. I really should take one right here at T-line again. So sometimes when I have these orders resting up here on Interactive Brokers, I'll drag them into price and they'll say they're too far out of zone. So let's see what happens. No, it took it. So next one will be at VWAP right here. And then as you can see, I actually like to rest orders here and way up here again. So we got everything peppered there in case we get a little bit of a rally there. So what are your guys' Kerpos? What's your current positions? You got anything going on? Flat? In something? I am long the MES. I'm long the MNQ. I'm long the MYM. So you can see a little theme building here. I'm long Bitcoin, or I should be. Darn it. Why am I not long Bitcoin? These should all be lined up. And I'm looking for a short in in gold here on a pop back up to around 49.50. We've been on both sides. Mixed bag for me. I'm running through and testing some new Apex accounts that are part of a new program that they'll be rolling out. So some you can pass in one day. Let me see here. This is the lead account, so we'll just leave that there. So let's see what you guys got going on. Flat, long MYM. Dow and ES was below 50% ATR at open, so I waited. The Dow went outside up, so I waited there and got a couple longs in ES once it got over 50. All right, cool. So yeah, taking advantage of the two-way direction. Now, in something like the NASDAQ today, I will point out that with all this range, it still hasn't gotten anywhere close to plus twos. I'm resting orders. I mean, plus twos are just above, right? So I'm going to look for actually a new lower low there before I get involved. And this is up at basically the volume POC. So this stuff gets you done. I think I was saying this morning in my trade room, if I recall, that it looked like or could be a 600 to 800 point down day. And I got my wish. Let's watch the Dow here. Nice move for the Dow Jones. I think I have, no, I don't have much inventory on anymore. That's a bummer.
Order filled.
Not much inventory. Wild ride in Bitcoin. I bought full Bitcoin the other night at like 75.5s. I think the lows today were about 73.8s or something on the spot. All right, I'm going to sell this here.
Order filled.
Just get flat so I can rest an order back down here.
Order submitted.
Again, I make certain
Order
decisions
filled.
in the PAs, and then again, this is the swing account, which I will be holding for a bigger move. Bitcoin. Can we get above 75 400s? We need this. Come on. Here we go. I'll take this one at sort of just break even. Actually, scale out of a little bit at the high here for a graceful exit. Be great if I could make some money in front of people instead of well, we made some good money on Friday. And also, on the Thursday broadcast, and then also, all right, MES here. I'm going to run a sell stop.
Order
Just
submitted.
preserve profit as it runs up there.
Order filled. Order filled.
Today's one of those days where all you really had to do, I know it's easier said than done, is just withstand the storm in both directions. You had to withstand the storm this morning in gold to the upside if you're looking to find a short. Anyone short gold around 5,000? It was clear as day once they recovered the 47.75s again that big round number of 5K, and then they pushed through it maybe about $10 or something like that. Any gold traders today in both directions? Yeah, if we break below 25,000 on the MNQ, I'm going to sell a few MNQ puts. But I'll need a real flush and a pop in volatility. If you look at the VIX today, it's up really nicely. All right, same thing. I'm going to close my Bitcoin position here in the PAs. I won't be able to monitor the chat as much today because I am pretty full up on stuff that's happening. Stuff. We're pretty full up on stuff.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, back in Bitcoin down here at these little swing lows if
Order
they
submitted.
occur. Back in Dow Jones, if we get back down to 49,000-ish. Actually going to put it right at 49,000. Just been a level for a little while there.
Order submitted.
Out of some NASI if it does pop up to the 338s. Again, I'm buried in the NASDAQ on the swing account. But fortunately, made the money back in a bunch of other things, so still up stuck today. Come on, Dow. Come on, Bitcoin. One more little push.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order submitted.
Come on, NASDAQ. Got this in every account. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go, Bitcoin. That's got to be at that price. That's the one thing I hate about TradingView versus you can't even see. Come on. All right. I'm just going to drag it in there. I think I got 550s. No, I got 520s as it moved to 570s. So out a little bit more Bitcoin. Now I can comfortably hold these positions for the remainder of the session. Not loving this gold short. Missed this by a tick. Come on. There you go, Bitcoin. Take you up to the upper left here. The quick look at these Bullinox accounts. Got some super Bullinox stars in our group. I just keep my three master accounts over there to keep me honest. So anyway, a little $600 day over there, all done. These commissions are not correct, but don't worry about it. It's whenever you leave it connected through overnight, it grabs the commissions from the prior day. In fact, let me see this if I'm correct. Let me get rid of these orders just in case I can't reconnect again.
Order canceled.
So one of the things that Ninja has never done very well is the P&L on live accounts that are connected that hold positions through the Globex, and also commission calculations, again, if you just keep your connection. I don't know why I can't just reset them, but let me see if it does. This is just out of interest. Just out of interest. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. $20 in commissions, not $60 in commissions. Go Bitcoin. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So I got some Bitcoin here.
Order filled.
Sell that. This is a $50,000 PA that I have up to $71,000. I'm pretty proud of that. What's the biggest? Well, many of you might, if you're trading minis, okay. If you're only a micro trader, I don't know who this applies to, but if you're only trading micros and you've intellectually honest, you've never traded a mini in a small account, which is basically what the prop programs are. What's the largest balance that you've grown in any funded account? 5,000, 3,000, 10,000, 15,000? I have seen some guys online, other YouTube creators, they're trading minis, but they're not trading big. They claim they trade between 1 and 3 NASDAQ or 2 and 3 ES. And they have $50,000 balances that they've grown to like 30 or 40,000. So I've never done that, but I'd be interested to know what the best
order filled.
Best day you've had. Excuse me, best run you've had on the upside. It'd be very interesting. Let me know. Put it in the chat.
Order filled.
Go Bitcoin. Let's put one right here at this VWAP. I think we probably peter out today at around the Michael Saylor number of 76 to 79-ish in that area. That's likely where it's all dunzo.
Order filled.
All dunzo.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, I'm closing this gold short.
Order filled.
So not messing around with gold short this late in the afternoon. Just creeping up. So all flat gold. My Kerpos now is just
order filled. Order
getting out of a few things here.
Order filled.
I am not involved in a whole lot of anything anymore. All we got is
order filled.
We got nothing. I'm long the NASDAQ. That's it. I'm long the NASDAQ in these series of accounts. What do you think? Take one of these miserable NASDAQ softs over here? Maybe. Look at how well this extreme turn did for you. God darn, that's so good. Yeah, I'm going to use this pop. I hate taking home a big loser.
Order filled.
Hate taking home a big loser.
Order filled. 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 Order canceled.
All right, this is all we got. We got Dow Jones 2 lot, MNQ 2 lot, Micro Bitcoin 2 lot. Does anyone know of any way to keep your entire closed positions on this screen? I don't think you can, because all they have is trade history, then they have balances, and they have this account summary. I mean, this is just the integration of interactive brokers at on TradingView. But it'd be nice if there was a way to keep, there's no setting, column setup. Ooh, let's add cost basis. I like that. Yeah, there's no way to keep the open positions or the closed positions here, so you can see what you made on other things that you've closed. Oh well. Nice move for Bitcoin. We almost made that. I'm going to take it. There we go. All right. Now opportunity to buy back at this yellow line. So real quick, if you're first time ever watching my stream, I can teach what I do here really literally to anybody. I mean, especially after the reversal happens. I mean, this is treacherous. There's no real longs, continuous longs here. You can look at higher time frames when you're just hugging the -2s. You know, some people would even look at this and go, oh, I'm just going to trend trade against this, which is great. If you catch it, you know that that's going to happen, fantastic. But once we get back inside the bands and this starts to flatten out, now all of our levels are laid out ahead of us. I'm going to rest this red line here. I'm going to rest this red line here. I'm going to rest an order right there, which is VWAP. There's a few other moving averages on here. Don't worry about those. And then you just put your orders right there. There's a yellow line right here, which is the visible range POC, the highest volume node of this time period. I'm using a 2-minute chart. I really should switch this to a 3-minute. Probably look a little better on a 3-minute. There we go. And you can see I just took one, you know, a little shy of where we popped up there to 76.7s, somewhere in there. And the Dow Jones, we look on this, same thing. Targets there, way up there. You can put it, there's a lot of spots that you can pick out on here. It's very simple. 2 standard deviation, 1 standard deviation, 34 EMA, VWAP, visible range profile, which is, this is the highest volume node of the day right here. So whatever you want to call it, trap longs, places where they built a position, 49,568. That's going to be a bit of a magnet to get back up there now that the buyers have got control. So the buyers are clearly back in control. The buyers have got it.
Order submitted.
Go NASDAQ. All right, very impressive. From down quite a bit in open now to that. We'll hit it here. And now put orders back here and here. Very unlikely that we come back down to these levels today. But and then the next final one would be right there. Again, I lost money on this NASDAQ trade. I was long here, here, took one off. So 1, 2, out, long 1, long 2, long 3, cover, just long 1. So as you can see, if you start your original position up here around 25.6 and your last add is 25.340s, you're going to have trouble with that. But this whole process, hopefully you're seeing how it kind of comes together. I think there's a benefit to showing how this this style of trading works for both, again, live accounts, small, approachable live accounts. Nothing against those other guys. If you like them, you like their style, you like what they're doing, that's great. Even when they're trading real live money, it's, you know, 6 figures. I don't think that helps many people, especially if you're learning how to try to control risk in small accounts. But this is something that everyone can do. And over here is, I don't think I've taken any trades in this account today. No. But here's even a smaller account that we could work with. And then, of course, we got Fantasyland over here, which is the funness of the prop programs. All right, a little bit of a lull in the action. Let's see if there are any questions. How much money did you make on your IB account from last month? In December or in January? Last month would be January, right? Roughly what I remember, so I made a withdrawal of $13,900, so I think I made that about. Grew 30 to 13 to 43 nines. Then I withdrew. One thing I do know is that this account was just $30,000 on Sunday night. In fact, if you go watch my Sunday night stream, I was also up stuck in that stream when gold just tanked, remember? And then that night it went even all the way down to, it revisited 4,400, which I didn't think that was going to happen. But what's 4,400? 4,400 was the stall point on the way up, right? Because I remember, because I sold the shit out of 4,400 calls, and I got super lucky. I think it's lucky. I mean, I had a plan for if it didn't work, but I sold 15 GC 4,400 calls. That's a lot. And I covered them when gold fell to about 41.10, somewhere in there, and then the low was around 3,900. So anyway, we don't have to get too caught up in it. What I'm here to do is show you we're managing this with what do the micros do for you in smaller accounts? They allow you to trade around a particular position in a single instrument. They also allow you to eventually multi-instrument if you want today, because today there was a ton of cross currents, right? If you were buying pullbacks in gold and time gold, okay, today you had opportunities in both directions. Whereas for the most part, after the opening half an hour, it was just a straight train down for all the stock indices, along with Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin just got hammered if you tried to find any bottoms today and you weren't using micros and managing risk. Let's see what else. SM scooping lick off the floor. Okay, little comment. Market comments. Do you connect Rhythmic and Tradevate on Ninja at the same time? I do, but not always. Normally, the connection. What I do is I connect first to Ninja Brokerage just for my data. I have a $2,500 account there. I used to be growing that also to 5,000, but I don't like Ninja, and I don't like Ninja Brokerage, and so anyway, I'm not doing much with that other than using it for data. I do have a trade on right now, but I don't do much. So I connect first to CQ. It's their CQG continuum feed from Ninja. Then I connect to IB, just to a single. You can only have a single IB connection per. Look at gold back up to 49.75. So nice run from gold. Let me make sure that I don't have a short order here, because I thought I did. Okay, my short order's up at 50.35s. So before I finish on the way I connect to all those things, just real quick, when you're looking at this stay in your lane chart here, offer to sell at +2s, which is right up here. I mean, when I say I can teach this to you, just if you didn't think too much, now there's other considerations, and you just put the orders on the line, you'd be ahead of 95% of traders. And then the other one in this perfect Indian arrow here is buying a pullback now to the 49.50. I originally was short there in the prop programs, and I took it off. I have an indicator here on here too that paints little arrows, as you can see, when there's basically longs and shorts. So this is a little long rush here. I don't sell this indicator. You can't buy it. I'm not even going to tell you the logic. It's just a fun green arrow. Anyway, that's what we got going on there. So getting back to what I connect Ninja first to a live account, next to interactive brokers, then to a variety of different Tradevate accounts, and then occasionally I'll connect to a Rhythmic. I only have Rhythmic at a few firms. I have Rhythmic accounts at Apex because I like the ability to trade Apex on various platforms that I'm testing, including Tickblaze and others. And you know, there's a number of web-based platforms out there that use TradingView where you can now connect through Rhythmic, which is actually pretty cool. So there's the answer to that question. Good question. And then the copiers I use on Ninja are Replicanto and Affordable Indicators. TradingView is great for charting and analysis and for multi-asset chart visualization. It's not a good platform to trade on, but it's become sort of the de facto default. It's obviously what is embedded into even Top Step X. So it's not great, but for position trading and the kind of stuff that I'm doing, it's absolutely fine. So what was the answer to that question? So someone got it up to 22,000. Big dog profits. What was the starting size of the account drawdown? Was it 2,500 or 3,000? I am looking forward to the days when we can just describe the drawdown of the account and not the notional value. Oh, maybe it'll happen someday where you can just say it was a $2,500 account. You know, you can just say it was a $3,000 account. It was a $1,250 account. We just speak in drawdown, not in notional. All right, Dow Jones. Couldn't quite get up there.
Order filled.
Once I start to take profits on an unprofitable position, I actually do root for it to go down. You hear that in my trade room all the time. We're rooting for more inventory. I don't want to be right when I was wrong for too long. I'd rather be right once I earn the right to get back in, have more inventory. Yes, TradingView has so for those that don't know, it has this whole options chain. You can connect it to, I think so far you can only connect it to TradeStation. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a few others that you can connect it to. But once you have a data connection from anything, you're going to get the data in here, which is pretty cool. So this is the MES options chain, options on futures data right here in TradingView. So they're doing some good stuff there. All right, Bitcoin. Can you get through VWAP? Gosh, this morning in my trade room, I must have said 1,000,000 times. By the way, if you just want to make a bunch of money, just come in and fade exactly what I say. No, I got it right on NASDAQ collapsing, but I was very leery of being short Bitcoin today under 80,000. And if you had been shorting every move in the 79s, you made a fortune. So that's the hazard of just having to spit nonsense into a microphone for too long. By the way, speaking of spitting nonsense into the microphone, one thing that was not nonsense was a great Trader Talk Tuesday today with Ben from Spain. Imagine he's out to dinner right now. I don't know if he's on the stream, but thanks, Ben, for originally or is Danish, now lives in Spain. We had a great Trader Talk Tuesday. If you're not familiar with our community, that's what community is all about, is getting people on the mic, talking to them, figuring out what everyone's very cliche term, but what their journey is, where they're at in their learning curve, how they're putting these pieces all together. And if you're interested in finding out how you can get involved in that, you want to look at the description down below or check the ebook over there. That'll put you on the list and you'll be notified of various things that are going on. One thing I want to highlight, if you've been following my content for a while and you haven't pulled the trigger and you haven't come in because maybe you don't have time and a trade room's not for you, this indicator here, which is called the extreme turn, which again, I'm not cherry picking this, okay? We have 30 different videos on how to use this thing properly, okay? This is your first signal here. When the bar closes, you can put on your first piece. However, when the next bar opens and the condition is still present, you do not add. Now you shift gears to waiting until the condition comes off, okay? And you can watch this in real time. Here's the last bar. Then this bar opens. Where did this bar open? You guys know how to read a candlestick, right? So this bar opened right there, wick down a teeny bit, but that's it. But what do you notice? The blue extreme turn, buy, it's turning point. Fuck no, it's not. No, it's not. Now it is, okay? So what am I getting at? Right now, for $249, you can join the room for 90 days in the PTR, and you also get this indicator forever, as well as some other bonuses, okay? At the end of February, this is going away. And it might go away even sooner for 3 reasons. One, it's just too much value for what we're doing. We used to sell this indicator for $1,000. So if you still want to get in and get it for Tickblaze, NinjaTrader, and TradingView, whether you come into the trade room ever again or not, you get access to the Learning Center and literally dozens and dozens and dozens of examples of how to use this. Okay? Let's give an example over here on silver, right? Let me see here. We're on a 4-hour. Yeah. Okay. It was good on a 2-hour too. So what's taught in the learning is, again, see this? Comes down, comes down, comes down. Now you stay out of this entire thing. Now, even if you take a signal on the very first painted bar, you have to manage risk around that. But what a lot of people learn is when things are falling and the signal starts to print, they just wait for the signal to come off. Again, it found a little bit of a bounce here, kept you out of trouble if this was the first candle you're in. And then what did it do next? It picked the absolute bottom. And you can hunt around on different time frames too. Now you could say, oh, over here, this sucked, this didn't work. Well, there's not enough separation between the 55. You're looking for the greater amount of separation between the 55 and the 233. And again, this is all taught. I teach it all to you. The real value, I think, is in the one-to-many mentoring and a great community and coming in and learning how to manage risk in small accounts so that you can then, there we go, there's our market on close orders.
Order filled. Order filled.
There's our market on close orders. Kind of want to short here a little bit, but I'm not going to. Anyhow, you can find out all about that down below. Get access to this indicator that might get you done. What do you think? We take one more Dow here. It's a nice move. All right. This is just a matter of habit. Like, these are going to get canceled and they're not going to get filled today. But when I take profit, When we're doing what we're doing here, mean reversion trading, I just put the orders right back down below. I want to run the whole cycle here. Is there any prop firm for options traders? No, I was trying to do one, but it's just too difficult. A goal of mine this year is, well, no, that's not true. There are some firms that will allow you to trade options. Trade Funder has an options program. Maverick Trading has an options program. Every time I hear options, I think of options on futures. But if you're talking about equity options or regular options, yes, there's a few firms that will allow you to do that. What I've been trying to do for the last couple years, and it hasn't worked because you guys all suck at trading and no one can stay funded for long enough, is I want to give you my money to trade options once you are funded in live markets at prop firms and making money and managing risk. Here's the problem. None of you are doing that. So stop being bozos. Go through these programs, make some money in payouts, pick a few firms that will actually put you in live markets, manage risk well in those live markets, not so you can quit your job and change your entire lifestyle overnight, but how about just $2,500, $5,000 a month? Supplement and complement your income. Do that without big drawdowns. Do it maybe across a couple accounts. And then I would love to teach options to people that are already managing risk properly, because essentially, if you don't know how futures on options on futures work, they are infinitely better than stock options. There's no comparison, not even a comparison. The only downside is in some instruments, many of the instruments we would be starting with, like the MES, the liquidity sucks. So but I need you to help me with that because I make markets in them. So the liquidity sucks, but the liquidity doesn't stuck in the ZN and the ZT, which would be something we can get into later. But at a very high level, if you understand options, then you will understand this one factor of options on futures that make them infinitely better, especially for smaller accounts, for people that are learning. And here's what it is. There's no additional leverage when you're the casino, if you will, when you're the house, when you're doing what you should be doing, which is most of the time be selling puts to express a long, selling calls to express a short. When you sell one contract in the SPY, that represents 100 shares. That's butthole pucker time. When you sell a call in the MES, a bunch of things. Not only you have zero assignment risk, like literally zero, and I'll teach and explain why. You have zero assignment risk. You have zero assignment risk where you get screwed. Has anyone ever been short SPY calls and screws up and all of a sudden you get assigned even when they're slightly in or out of the money? They get assigned at some weird, well, that's because there's a dividend and they want to grab that and have you pay the dividend, right? None of that happens with options on futures. But the most important thing is that there's no additional leverage, meaning one options contract in the futures market represents one of the underlying, not 10, not 5, not 50, not 100. And that's your only obligation. The initial and maintenance margin is exactly the same. So because of that, it makes almost zero sense to trade options on futures from the long side, buy puts, buy calls, except for situations like the nonsense that was going on with silver and gold recently. Because then, if you know what you're doing, like I was never going to sell a silver call. That's insane. I did express shorts in gold back at 4,400, like I said, but I would have made infinitely more money on puts. But they were so juiced up at the time. I sold the 4,400 3 days till expiration for $90 a contract. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take that. Meaning my break even would have been around 44.90 where I would have started to lose money. So not only do you have no assignment risk, you have a 1-to-1 ratio between the underlying and the options contract. And then because of that, what can you do? You can be fucking Tom Sosnoff now. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a great businessman and a pretty decent trader, but his education just sucks because he puts on positions where if he's wrong or offsides, they just roll things forever, or he just shorts 1,000 shares of stock or 10,000 shares of stock, or goes long 1,000 shares of stock or 10,000 shares of stock or 100,000 shares of stock. You can't do that. So what do you have to do? You have to spread, right? Which generates additional commission and lowers your overall profit potential. You can't do selling strangles and straddles like he does, right? They're more non-directional trading. The interesting thing about what I teach is that for the underlying, I am mean reversion trading. I'm looking for potential moves, okay? I'm directional, if you will. And then in the option side, I'm the same thing. I'm directional. I'm not neutral. I want to sell a put at a level that I have a long signal in. I want to sell a call at a level where I have a short signal on. Okay, that's it. We got 3 more minutes. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on options. And here's the thing. You don't have to learn anything new to somewhat follow along. If you have the slightest understanding of how options work on equities, it will take you 10 minutes to pick up the differences on the futures side. Because the last point I was getting at is, let's say you get slightly off sides. You're short a call in gold at 5,000, meaning that you have you're short a call. You need the market to go down, right? When you're short a put, you need the market to go up. So you're short a call in MGC at 5,000. It starts ticking up. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay? What if you did nothing? If you're a deer in the headlights? Well, let's pick a number. Let's say it went $40 against you. When you get assigned, you're just short from 5,000. One contract. That's it. If you don't want to be short one contract and it starts to go against you, yes, you can just close it out. You can cover your short like any other option. Or you can just go long MGC. And that puts you in what's called a boxed position, if you will. Now, where do you get screwed on doing something like that? You get short a call, it starts to go against you. You want to hedge or box your position. You buy MGC, it ticks up a little bit more, and then crashes. The amount of premium that you brought in on your short call is not going to cover what you're losing on the long underlying. Now, people can get all fancy and talk about gamma and theta and all those things. And generally, if you become a full-time options trader, you should understand the Greeks a little bit more. But in what I teach, you don't need to know shit about them. You just have to understand what the 50 delta is, basically. The 50 delta is pretty much the at-the-money option with the shortest amount of time expiration. All right. If one can only trade afternoons, are the bands still fairly reliable? Actually, the afternoon could be a better time. Now, markets will tend to have cycles, as you know, during the cash session. Today, the cycle was down, down, down. It was a little bit of a pop, then down, 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 and then found a reverse. And now we've spent the last hour or so reversing. But by all means, the bands have the highest probabilities later in the day. The problem is your levels, so let's take a look at the Dow Jones today, right? I think I'm on the Dow. Are we going to get up here? Probably not. Are we going to get back down here? Probably not. So you don't have any trade if you kind of missed the original part of the move, if that makes sense. But the bands are absolutely, the time that you do not want to trade them is on the New York reopen. So 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Don't trade that. I get on my phone and I see all these people trading gold and NASDAQ at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Now, gold's a little bit of an exception right now because it's so volatile. You can pretty much trade gold 23 hours a day, 24 hours a day. I ain't mad at you. But most of the time, the stock indices should only be traded during the cash session and not in the overnight session. Where can we do options on futures? I've only been doing for stocks. You can trade options on futures at Charles Schwab. You can do it at Interactive Brokers, which is where I do it. You can do it Tradier, which is cleared through Dorman. And then you can do it at Tasty. Tasty is probably one of the best places to do it. Although for all the love that people give Tasty, I just don't like that brokerage. I have $7,000 or 10. I have $7,000. I have like 15 grand at that account, that place in 2 different accounts. Every time I go in there to do anything, I get annoyed. But that's another place you can do. Do you recommend a good course for or books on options trading? On pure mechanics of options trading, there's just a ton of stuff out there. There's a lot of good YouTubers. Tasty Trade does have good education on the basics. What's a call? What's a put? The key to do anything with what I talk about, and by the way, I don't want to oversell. I'm not offering any of this in my room right now. Okay, I talk a good game about it. I've done some masterminds on it, but I just need to grow a community of a few thousand people that just don't lose money anymore and post that they're making money in the prop programs. Then I will have done my job. Until we get to that point, I don't need to teach new stuff. Most of you guys are not figuring out this first part here, which is deposit a small amount of your own money and cash flow that, or use some of these prop programs properly and learn how to do that over a 3 to 6 month period. The grass is not greener on the other side until you have fully mowed the side that you're on. So Charles Gamble 363, if you're not a member of my community, I do have, for any lifetime members or whatever, I have several masterminds that I've done on options trading, and they're available in our Discord. You get access to all of that once you become a member. So I think my teaching on it is better, but again, I do not cover the mechanics of options trading. It's only the difference between futures options and options on equities. What do I think of RTY? I'm not going to look at the Russell right now. I don't know. If it's in the, I cannot not look at it, but it's a nothing burger right now. It just got above VWAP. Don't do anything. It's in the middle of the muck. So I wouldn't do anything. That's what my strategy would call for doing nothing. Okay, I think that's it for today. Really does help, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really does help. It also helps if again, if you think this could be valuable to anybody and you think that my rants are helpful, share the video too, because apparently sharing gets you the most points on YouTube now. It's like the backlink of Google. So if you could share it, that would be fantastic. And then finally, check the link down below. You might not have never been in my trade room and don't have time to be in a trade room. I get it, but it's a limited time left that I'm going to give you not only 90 days inside the trade room, but I'm going to give you an indicator that I sold over $1.5 million worth of, and I'm proud of it because it's a great frickin' thing and it has a full course on it, the extreme turn. This thing alone, I'm just going to spend one more second on looking at this, okay? Do I prefer it on the long side versus the short side? Yes, that's another thing that I get into. It can find some tops, but I prefer it on the long side. Just look at it today in the NASDAQ. No signal today on the Dow Jones, which is very interesting. Let's see if there was a signal on, look at this in the S&P. Look. As soon as the second bar prints and the condition is still present, you do nothing. You wait. You're actually stalking this the whole way down. And then when this frickin' candle opens, and it opened right here at 68.93s, you're like, again, I can teach this to a 5-year-old. Do you see a blue, is this painting a blue background on this bar? No. Buy. Buy it with both hands. Buy and believe. Let's look at it on Bitcoin. I don't know. It's like a broken record. What else do you want? Let's look at it on gold. I bet you there's some sell signals on gold. And by the way, this is looking at on a 30-minute. I mostly use it on 4 hour and 2 hours, and I use it mostly exclusively on stocks. Anyway, you can get access to that. Any more questions before I go? I think that's it. Someone said tasty is hokey. If you want to be a professional trader and you're in one of the 36 countries that it provides it, you want to aspire to have an interactive broker's account, and the biggest one you can possibly have. Whether that's starting with 15,000, you get up to 300, 350, $500,000. They have they practically still have free money even at these rates. Their margin rates are the best. They're the closest thing to a hybrid of institutional meets retail. They have 23-hour customer support. I don't know what country it's in, but sometimes it is difficult to understand them. And they don't answer the phone all the time, no matter how much money you have with them. But they integrate with NinjaTrader. So if you wanted to trade and you use NinjaTrader, that's one of the integrations. They integrate with interactive brokers. They have their own platform called TWS, Trader Workstation. They offer me $500 for my link for anybody that opens an account and deposits more than $15,000, but I've never felt comfortable recommending brokers and getting paid for people doing anything with real money, so I don't offer that link. And I don't think they give you any kind of bonus for it anyway. And next stream, remind me to tell you the time that Thomas Peaford called me on my cell phone. All right, everybody. Rod, is this Rod Casilli? This is Thomas Peaford. I thought I was being punked. All right, everybody. Stay green. Trade like you mean it. We'll see you at the next one. Be good. Bye-bye.